Hey guys, welcome back to Digital Sniper. So today will be my last video of 2025, and I will be on holiday. I'm going to Tokyo. I'll be visiting a few baseball card shops, so I'm making a video about that. So stay tuned if you want to know more about the baseball card scene in Tokyo. And so for today's video, I want to talk about my top 10 cards in my collection. Okay, but before I start on that though. I did leave out something in my last video about the products that I use to store my cards, and that is the dry cabinet. That's something that I recently bought an extra dry cabinet because my collection is starting to grow and I don't have enough space in my original dry cabinet. But something that I truly recommend if you live in an environment where there's drastic change of weather throughout the seasons or that it's very humid. um, a product like this, it's not expensive, but it can keep your cards in great shape and prevents it from yellowing. So yeah, I'll definitely recommend this product to you. And if you have any questions about this product, feel free to leave me a comment below or even inbox me. So let's get going with my top 10 list. I don't want to make this video too long as I prepare for my trip. Sorry about that, but so number 10, I have my Chipper Jones PSA 6. Obviously, this card is the most sought out card in the collection, but because of the fact that this is only a PSA 6, so it only is on the number 10 position. So card wise, this card is in really good shape and has good eye appeal. But I think it lost a few grades due to the condition of the foil. Overall, I think it has that kind of PSA 8 appeal. I will be looking for a PSA 8 or 9 in the future. I'm not sure if I can afford 10, but definitely this won't be my only copy. Now, number 9 is the Kirby Puckett. And the reason why the Kirby Puckett is on this list, well, before I say this, I just want to say like the top 10 list for me is not just on the overall value of the card. And there'll be several reasons why these are on my top 10 list. Some for personal reasons, some because of the characteristics of the card. Like, for example, maybe it's an autograph or the fact that it has some sort of maybe it's a major miscut, which I'm looking for, by the way, but something that makes the card somewhat special. Now, the Kirby Puckett made it on this list not because it's a PSA 9, which is kind of common, but the thing is that I've been looking for a nice PSA 9 for quite some time, and a lot of the graded Kirby Puckets are actually quite off-centered. So it took me quite a while to find this, and I bought it off of a collector that didn't really want to sell it. So, which makes this even something that I treasure even more because it came from a collector that really loved the card, and now it belongs to another collector that really loves the card. So it makes it kind of special to me. Now, on number 8 is the Edgar Martinez. Similar to the Kirby Puckett, this is only PSA 9, but a lot of you guys know that the Edgar Martinez suffers from roller marks. So I think right now, with a lot of the online auction houses like eBay or whatever, it's very hard to find a 9 even. Okay, so this a 10 is even harder, but a lot of the cars that you see graded for sale are probably PSA 7 or lower due to the fact that a lot of them have these roller marks on the, I think it's starts from the middle top and then slightly down to the bottom left. So, the moment I found this card, I knew I had to get it. Will I ever buy a 10? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm quite happy with a 9 at the moment. This may be a card where I may not upgrade. We'll see. Now, number 7, I have a Jim Abbott PSA 10. I've mentioned this before. Um, I think the first time I saw Jim Abbott PSA 10 was back in 2023. And I passed on that card. The card was a great looking card. It's just that at that time, I just didn't have that desire to buy a PSA 10 at that price. But after a while, I kind of regretted that decision. And, but since then, I think one or two PSA 10s popped up, but they weren't of greatest shape. So one of those like PSA 10s that have a PSA 10 grade but doesn't look like a PSA 10. So this popped up on Probstein, I think, and actually, um, if they knew what was my maximum bid on eBay for this card, they'd definitely show it up. And don't sue me, by the way. I'm just joking, or maybe not. But anyway, so I just had to get this card. You know, Jim Abbott is one of the most respected athletes in my generation. While I was watching baseball as a kid, and I've total like a lot of respect for this player. He, he definitely had like 5 times the effort of any other player due to his disability. But to throw a no hitter with one hand, that's just amazing. Okay, so this definitely deserves a spot in my top 10 list. Now, number 6 is Ricky Henderson. Mine's only a 9, but I love the card. I love the photo. And of course, Ricky Henderson is just a legend. Will I ever get a 10? I may get a 10 for this. I think, while I'm pretty happy with this 9, I may get a 10 for this. I have a couple raw cards of this card, but yeah, I think I may chase for a 10. I don't know. Well, let's see if one that really appeals to me pop up in the next year or two. Number 5 is not a card, but it's my sealed Desert Shield pack. And I definitely think that due to the rarity and overall backstory behind the set, a sealed pack definitely deserves a spot on my top 10 list. I do have another pack that's not graded, which I have high confidence in the authenticity of the pack, but I think the sealed pack definitely deserves a spot in the top 10. Okay, and number 4 is my Nolan Ryan base PSA 9. Now, these in high grades are actually quite common, and I would definitely not, even for a 10, I don't really consider it. Well, they are rare in the sense because it is a Desert Shield card in comparison to the rest of the baseball cards of the Junk Wax era. A PSA 10 in that population is still kind of rare or scarce or whatever you call it. However, the reason why this card is number 4 on my list is because this was actually my first card, my first Desert Shield card that I bought before I started collecting the set. And so, believe it or not, I mean, now you may not find the price that I paid for it. You may even consider it pretty cheap now, but at that time, it was a bit of a big purchase for me. But I'm very happy to add this to my collection. Once again, like the Ricky, I may consider buying a 10. And actually, I thought about this in the last few days, actually. But this is one of those cards where, I'm looking for like that perfect 10. Perfect centering front and back, no chipping, perfect corners, perfect registration. Yeah, the perfect 10, okay? And not just any PSA 10. So, and number 3 is the Alan Trammell. Now, the Alan Trammell is definitely not one of those cards where, it's normally the player's not very highly sought after, and also his cards aren't really of high value. But due to the population of the PSA population of this card in PSA 10, which is only 12, and I did pay a pretty penny for this card, I've kind of learned to appreciate this card more and more day after day. And while I can't say whether or not this is a perfect PSA 10, it does have really good centering and really good registration, which is, by all means, I'm very happy to add this into my high grade collection. Now, number 2 is my Ken Griffey All-Star Auto grade 8 Auto 10. Okay. I think there's only like 6 or 7 of these. I may be wrong, but I'll have the information posted here. Once again, any autograph card is, to me, especially the set, is very special, and especially one that has a pretty high grade like this. I try to avoid autograph grades lower than a 10. So for me to find this Griffey in with an autograph grade of 10 is perfect. And number one, and this is, once again, it's the Ken Griffey base card, but once again, it's an autograph with an autograph grade of 8. Oh, sorry, with a card grade of 8 and an autograph grade of 10. I'm very happy to have both the base and the All Star card in my collection that are both autographed. But, you know, I actually don't have these cards, um, the base cards, without an autograph. So I'm definitely chasing for maybe a PSA 9. I'd prefer a 9 for both the All Star and the base in the future. But basically, because of the fact that these cards are autographed, um, and the position of these autographs are pretty nice, these two cards deserve a spot in my top 10 list, and of course, in the first two positions of this list. Now, I thought I put it like an honorable mention. I also have an Eric Davis with an auto grade of 10, and it's just been authenticated. Now, it's not, a big card, but the eye appeal on the card is really good, really well centered, and I also like the autograph on the card. So this to me is a special card too, like any autograph cards that I own. I do have quite a bit of autograph cards in the set. Just that, some of them they may not have, whether it's the position or how the athletes sign their names, may not have such a high place in my collection as some of these cards that I just mentioned. Now, the other honorable mention, and the only reason why this is an honorable mention and not on top 10 list, is because some people may not consider these cards to be Desert Shield cards, and that is my PSA 10 Desert Shield checklist collection, which is the checklist 1 to 6. Now, to me, these are very, very special because I don't think while I doubt anyone will crack these cards out, the population of these cards will not grow unlike any other cards of the set. And I do believe that these cards will be in high demand as we see more and more collectors of this Desert Shield set. So the 10s will definitely be really hard to find. Some of the 10s in this collection, or sorry, in the checklist set, is actually quite rare. For example, I believe checklist 2, 3, and 4 are probably the hardest ones to find, with a population of lower than 30. So yeah, so these I think probably until one day I decide not to collect cards in general and decide to sell my collection, I don't think I'll be selling the checklists anytime soon. But it definitely deserves an honorable mention. So I thought I'd make the video, and especially for my last video of 2025, because I think next year I'll make the same video on the last day of the year, and I bet you that this list is going to be a little different. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching, and have a happy, happy new year, and I'll see you guys in 2026.